Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today is the day we go through marketing math. No, it's not anyone's favorite day when it comes to marketing class, but there are some ratios and some numbers that you should know how to calculate in order to understand how things are going for your company. Like how much money do we need to make to stay in business, and how many units do we need to sell, or maybe we have to figure out which brand is growing better than the other ones, and how are we doing to our competition? What's our market share? These kind of questions are things that you're going to have to answer as a marketer. So I thought it'd be a good idea for us to go through some of these basic math things. And a few of the first ones are really going back to, Econ 101 kind of stuff, all right? And so if you're looking at your total cost, what is it going to cost us to be in business? To get your total cost, that equals your fixed cost plus your variable costs, okay? So the fixed cost, like we have to pay our mortgage, plus the variable costs, like how much do we have to spend to make each product? You're putting those together to figure out your total costs. And of course, with that, you want to figure out are we making any money? And if you want to figure out if you're making a profit or a loss, it's pretty straightforward. What you're doing is you look at your total revenue and you subtract your total cost. And if it's positive, congratulations, you have a profit. If it's negative, yeah, I'm sorry, but you've got a loss, so we need to do something about that. So the next thing I want to look at is what we call the unit contribution, which is basically the price minus the variable cost. And what this gives you is an idea of how much the sale is actually going towards either the profit or overall loss. Okay, so you're seeing what it's contributing, like each unit sale, what is it contributing to in the end, okay, towards the profits or towards the loss. And that leads into our contribution margin, okay? We're looking for this ratio that shows how much each sale contributes to the profit or the total cost, basically, relative to its actual price, okay? And so for that, what you end up having is on the top, again, we have unit price minus unit variable cost over the unit price, okay? So that gives you kind of an idea there. Now, another thing you might look at is what we call a markup. Okay, so the markup is unit price, okay, this is on the top, unit price minus unit variable cost over that unit variable cost. And this basically shows how the sale contributes to profit or loss in relation to the variable cost of actually making that individual product, okay? Now the next thing I want to look at is what we call the break-even volume, because we have to know is how many units do I need to sell in order for us to, like break even, right? The break-even volume seems pretty straightforward. And so what we're looking at here is we're just trying to figure out the break-even. So we're not trying to make any money. This is making zero profits, okay? We're just trying to figure out how many units, so I'm at zero. I don't have to pay anybody anything else, okay? So we're just covering our costs. And to figure out this break-even volume, what you do is you have the fixed costs on top, and then underneath, you have the overall unit cost minus the variable cost that's in there. And that gives you an idea of the volume we're gonna have to kind of put out. Now the thing is some people maybe don't look at the volume. Sometimes they do what's called a break-even, sales number. And so the break-even sales, what that equals is on top, you have the fixed cost again, and then underneath is that contribution margin. And that gives you an idea of the total sales you would need at a certain price that will produce zero profit, right? So you have an idea of how many sales we have to have, so we're breaking even. And what's nice with this, it actually helps make sure we're covering all those associated costs with, breaking even. Now let's say we want to look at how each one of our brands are doing, because you might have a lot of different brands you're dealing with, a lot of different products you're trying to sell in, and you're trying to figure out hey, what's our brand growth rate? Okay, how big is this brand growing? And so to figure out your brand growth rate, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have sales from today, okay, and then you subtract it from one time period ago. So you'll probably see sales T minus sales T minus 1, in the subscript there. You have that, and you take that over sales in T minus 1 period, okay? So it's showing you how are things changing. Is it growing or is it getting smaller? So if it's a positive number, hey, we do have some kind of growth there. If it's a negative number, our brand growth rate is actually going down. We have a problem here. Now, another thing we're going to look at is what's called market share, okay? Our market share is percentage. And what you're going to do here is you're going to look at your brand sales. Now, the thing is, it could be the money spent or it could be a units moved, things like that. That's up to you to decide, okay? But you have to be consistent, throughout the formula. But it's the brand sales over the category sales, okay? So basically, how much money did we make or how much money did we sell in sales versus how much was sale in the entire market, or how many units we sold versus the total number of units sold in that industry or in that market we're looking at, okay? And that gives us our market share. So that really gives us an idea of a firm's success in the marketplace, or basically how well we're doing compared to the market. Oh, we have a 20% market share, 30% market share. We're at 1% market share. Okay, we have room to grow. That gives you that kind of idea. And the thing is, market share overall could be kind of misleading. So sometimes what you want to do is kind of figure out your relative market share, especially if you're looking at your competition. And here what you look at is our market share that we calculate over our competitors' market share. And so that gives an idea of how well are we doing versus our competition. Because we really don't want to always compare ourselves to the entire market. Sometimes it's just comparing ourselves to like our direct competition, okay? Now, the next one I want to talk about is our return on investment. This is a pretty standard one that's out there, and that's just your net profit over your total investment in whatever investment area you're looking at. And then if you look at our return on marketing investment, what we're going to have here is on the top, you have your gross profit minus your marketing expenses. And then on the bottom, you have your marketing expenses there. And that gives you an idea of how much money do we make off of the marketing expenses that we did have. So you have kind of like a numerical number to show like the payoff for our marketing. Now I know math is not the highlight of this class, and that's why we just have 1 or 2 videos on math marketing or marketing math here. And as you can tell, not my strong suit in teaching either, but it's things you should know because these are numbers you need to put out to your bosses and stuff like to show them like, look, this is what we've done. This is what we're contributing. This is why this product will be good. Here's our true market leader because we have the biggest market share in our market here. Use all these in different ways, okay? So I hope this helps you know a little bit more, and good luck with the rest of these marketing videos. Don't worry, very little math after this.